Welcome to JFix and a new video, and I have got some new tools that I've purchased that are going to help me with some of the repairs that I need to do. So let me show you on my workbench what we've got. So on my bench here I've got a few ATX motherboards. Now a while ago these were very kindly donated to my channel and they've been sat gathering dust unfortunately because I don't have the things that I need to repair these types of motherboards currently. So that's what I've been doing. I've been putting together a few essential tools that are going to be needed to help us to fault these type of things. So I really enjoy repairing laptops, but I think being able to repair all different types of things as well, like this for example, this is a nice Asus motherboard. If I can repair these types of things, it's going to really help to develop and grow my knowledge and repairs. So definitely I should give something like this a go, and I really enjoy watching other YouTubers fix ATX boards, especially like the Mainboard Medic. So yeah, let's see if we can use some of these new tools and maybe feature some board repairs on a live stream or a video having a go at trying to repair boards like this. Now, as well as the ATX motherboards, I've also been given some GPUs as well. And I've been seeing lots of channels having fun recently trying to repair GPUs, and I want to jump on this bandwagon as well and see if I can get some GPUs repaired. But again, more equipment's going to be needed to be able to test them. So let me show you the bits that I've picked up so far. I've still got more to get, but hopefully this is going to get me started a little bit in repairing these GPUs and also those ATX motherboards. So here we go then. I've got a selection of different things here, as you can see. Before I start to show you what all these are, I haven't unboxed this one yet, so let me do the big one first and then we'll go through the smaller items that I've got. Now inside this box I've got a frame here, and this frame is going to basically house the test bench. I wanted something that was super portable. Now I do have spaces to set a bench up somewhere else, but I can't really film it, and I want to be able to take it away and bring it back to the desk when I've got an ATX motherboard or a GPU to look at, and then we'll be able to have a look on the desk together and I can film under the camera here. So let's see about building this one up, and yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, you can see on the back the finished product here. So it will house the motherboard, and it's got basically a support on here so you can mount your GPU and your power supply, etc. You can also fit fans on it as well. So it's kind of like an open air case really that I can mount everything to. I'm sure it's going to be very easy to build, so I'll just build it up quickly and I'll show you it once I've got it built up. Here we go then, it's all built up and very simple. Just had to snap out two triangles and basically put the brackets on the side, and now we're done. So yeah, really happy with that, and super simple, but it seems perfect for my needs. So let me go ahead and put a motherboard, mount it into this, and let's see how it looks. Right, let's do a test fit then, see how a board will look in there. Okay, so we're going to have to mount it, and we do get included in the kit a load of screws. Quite nice, in this kit is included these little brass standoffs. I think they're a pretty standard thing to mount your motherboards on, but you do get this little tool as well. So this is to actually screw in the standoffs to the motherboard. Quite like that they've got that little tool there. So it seems to screw in quite nicely, and yeah, then we can just spin the little tool. I'm assuming ATX boards have kind of a standard placement for the screw holes on here, so I'm mostly going to be working on the bigger ATX boards, but you know, if we get different ones, maybe we'll have to adjust the standoffs, I'm not sure. And by the way, while I'm putting this together, all the items that I'm going to show you here, they all came from AliExpress, and I'll provide links for them in the description if you're interested in picking any of these up yourself. And here we go, I've got 6 standoffs, and that fits them perfectly, all aligned. Let me just take that out and let's try another motherboard, because I'm just learning here. I wonder if they're all going to be the same position. 1, 2, yes, 3. Yeah, exactly the same position, so that's great. That means that it must be pretty standardized with these motherboards, that they're in the same position. Here we go, motherboard is fully mounted in position and secured now, so this is ideal. And it means that when I'm finished working with it, I can just pop this away, and if I need it, we can pop it back, bring it on the bench, and we can start working on things. And this open design in the motherboard means that I'm going to be able to power up this board, and then I'll be able to take any measurements because it's all open on here. And I don't have to worry about it shorting out with any bits of shrapnel and things that I've got on my desk. It's all going to be securely mounted in position. This frame is also going to allow me to mount the power supply in the side, so I can get a power supply like this and I'll be able to bolt it into there, so that can be also a permanent addition to the test bench, and I don't think that's going to get in the way. I'll still be able to use it. Now this power supply in question is actually a 900 watt power supply, but I don't know the current status of it, whether it's working or not. The only problem with this power supply is, look at this, I've got so many cables all attached to it. It is not a modular power supply, and for just testing the GPU or a motherboard, I do not need all of like these SATA and Molex connectors. I've not got 20 drives to power up. All I really need is the 24 pin to connect into my motherboard. Probably also need our CPU power cable, and then maybe a one to go to the GPU. So I'm thinking to, maybe upgrade and get a modular power supply, then I can just have the cables that I need plugged in. Now this kit came with this, which is a little power switch, so we can connect in here the power switch to the header to the motherboard, and it gives us a long cable with a little clicky switch just to power the motherboard on and off. So that would connect down on the header here, and we could have that, maybe mounted somewhere and click the switch. However, I'm not going to use that because I've bought something else. So what I've got is this little board, and I think this is quite neat. So as you can see here, we've got the motherboard header on that side, and this is going to give us everything. It's going to give us the power switch to turn the board on and off. It's also going to give us a reset switch as well, and we've also got activity lights. So we've got a hard drive activity light, and also we've got a power light, a power on light. So I'm really happy that I got this, and that will connect into the motherboard header. And the header here is quite straightforward because it's got a pin missing, which lines up with the pin missing on here. So can't really go wrong with that. We'll just insert that. Lovely. So yeah, that will just sit on the side of the motherboard, and it will be easy just to press the power switch and do a quick reset if I want. So I like that, and I've also got those LED indicators. Another thing that I've picked up is this. This is a little PC beep speaker. Now this is important because if I'm booting this board, this is going to give me something audible to go by. I might be booting it without displays connected and things and not be able to see an image, but this will tell me whether I've got a post or not. And also, for example, if it doesn't detect a GPU in the card, I think it's going to give me a certain error code, beep 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 3 times or something like that, and it will tell me that there's a problem, RAM's not detected, GPU's not detected, etc., based on the code that the beep speaker gives. Now while we are here looking at this motherboard, this is something I've already shown on my channel before, but this is worth mentioning as well because I've got this Alexsof PCIe Tester as well. So when you're trying to fault a motherboard, you want to get as much information as possible from what's happening on the board. So I know you can get like a board that goes into the PCI Express, on some boards that will give you some extra postcodes that will help to give you errors. But also having this DDR4 tester, I'm going to be able to connect that into one of the RAM slots, and this is also going to give me additional information. So if we check on the side here, you can see the various different readings that this gives out on this little OLED display here, and you've got a button here to test between modes and things like that. Now I don't know how to use this at the moment, so I'm really looking forward to being able to get stuck in and using this on the board, even a good board, to see what it shows on a good board compared to, you know, something that's going to be missing, some kind of signal that's missing, or some voltage that's missing on a faulty board. This is going to be an essential tool. This board in particular, I can't put it in because it's a DDR4 5, and this is a DDR4 tester. But I've got quite a lot of older motherboards that use DDR4 memory, so this is going to be very useful in those cases, as something that you just have connected into your motherboard, and it's going to obviously give you some readings. So yeah, I'm really happy I've got that, and I have got a discount code for Alexsof as well. If you are interested in having a look at his products, I will also leave the discount code in my description as well. Now, I want things to be super convenient when I'm doing testing. So if I'm testing a motherboard and perhaps testing a CPU or multiple CPUs, I might have them in and out. I might have motherboards in and out. It's going to get annoying to keep putting on and off, you know, coolers all the time. That's going to take up a lot of time. What I have done is I've bought this flat cooler here. So it's got a, you know, flat copper base to it on here, and what I'm going to be able to do, because it's got no mounts on it there, is just place that with some thermal compound on the CPU, and I believe that that should be enough to cool it, you know, temporarily while it's just as a test bench using it. Obviously, wouldn't use that on there all the time, but I don't think the downward pressure will necessarily be that important. And we do have a fan in the middle. It did come with multiple fans, by the way, this, but I've just fitted a fan in the middle that I can connect here to the fan header. So I'll also be able to see when the board powers up if I get fan spin on here, which will give me another good indicator that the board is running, and as the fan stops, you know, maybe the board's turned off by itself as well. So I like the fact that we've still got the fan on this heatsink, and I think we are pretty equipped here for doing some testing. Now let's talk a bit about power for a second, because if I am powering a GPU, that's fine. We'll use the power supply in the side here to provide, you know, enough amps and current for the board and the GPU for whatever it requires. However, if I'm faulting the laptop motherboard, watching the current is going to be extremely important for me. I want to be able to see exactly what current the motherboard is taking when it's in standby, which will be an indication of if there's any shorted components or if something's not running, a power supply is on standby that should be. And also, as the board starts, I can see the behaviour. I can see and follow the current, which is going to be something that's essential for faulting the motherboards. So if I have that in the power supply connected, I'm not going to be able to see that. So I've also bought this. So this is actually a 300 watt power supply adapter here with the 24 pin header on there. So the idea behind this is I'm going to be able to connect it into my motherboard connector, and out of there we do also have the CPU header on here to power the CPU as well. Let me check if it reaches. Yes, it does. It reaches over there. So I'm going to be able to power the motherboard and the CPU from there. And the input for this power supply will be on this type of barrel jack connector. So having this connector on the end will mean I can actually connect that to my bench power supply, and that means that I will be able to control the current, limit the current if I want, control the voltage, and we'll all be able to see that up here on the DC power supply meter. So I'm not sure about the barrel jack connector. I'm probably going to cut that off, and I'll have some banana plugs on there. That will be easier for me to connect it to my power supply rather than using that, but whichever way, I'll figure out a way to connect that to my power supply, and then we are powering the board. Now, I've only got currently, I think 6.3 amps on my power supply, something like that, or 6.4 amps maybe. Now, that will be fine, I think, for powering up a board, just to see if I can get a post on there. You know, if I'm powering a big GPU, then I'm going to obviously need the big power supply for that. But for at least, you know, testing the board, seeing if I can get a post, and not really doing any stress testing or anything, just seeing with a CPU in there, I think that will be quite adequate. But let me know what you think. I'm going to need your help and, you know, your expertise. I know there's a lot of good computer people out there, so if we can improve this test bench in any way, please let me know in the comments on what you advise. I might be looking at getting another bigger power supply that we can also use on the screen here to monitor the current. Right, let's move the test bench out of the way for the moment then, and what I'll do is I'll show you the bits and pieces that I've picked up for looking specifically at the GPUs. So I love the fact that I can just move that out of the way and we can bring that back in, you know, when we need it. So the first thing I've picked up for testing GPUs is this PCI Express tester on here. It does also have the older AGP port down there, so it is a dual tester. It can do PCIe Express or AGP. Probably never going to bother using those, but we've got the PCI Express ports down here. And what this tester is going to allow me to do is basically check that we've got on this PCI Express connector here no shorted pins or no open circuits on here. So I guess that can be quite a common thing, as this is, you know, a place where people are inserting the card into a motherboard. Components can easily get knocked off here, and this edge connector can get damaged as well. Maybe a track or a trace is broken on here. So I was thinking that this is a pretty essential tool and a time-saving one as well, because with one click I can put this in here, test it, rather than going through and diode checking every single pin and maybe missing a pin. So let's just test that actually, see how it works. Now I've seen knocking around on AliExpress a few different variants of this one, and this one luckily has got the USB-C on there. We can also power it from the 6-pin connector as well, but we like USB because we've got it on our table here. And let's have a look. I'm assuming that's working. I'm guessing it takes 5 volts being USB. Let me plug this one into the card. So we'll plug the card in. Card is in. Now, by the way, AliExpress actually sent me this PCI Express tester free of charge. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for sending me this. And yeah, definitely I'm going to be able to put this to good use. So let's see how it works. Oh, here we go. We've got lights. So I'm pressing the button now. Can you see all those lights? Let me hold it in the right angle. Here we go. It's a bit darker here. So you can see every single one of those lights are all lighting up on here. Now, I probably need to learn it. I'm assuming because they're all lighting up that most cards should be like that. I know there's maybe cards that use different amounts of lanes and things, but this particular card, I have no idea what it is definitely lighting up all of the LEDs on there. So we haven't got any bad connections. And I guess you can also do a bit of a wiggle test on there and see if any of those lights come out, or if any of them goes, you know, slightly dimmer, to indicate a bad connection. So it's quite nice that we can actually do a bit of a mechanical test on there. I'll tell you what, let's just test this MSI card as well, because it's so quick to test it. Let's see if this one has any issues. Be cool to have a card which had some issues on it to show you. Oh, wait a minute. Did you see that one? A64. That didn't light up for a second there. So that may just be because, oh, we've got another one. You see that? That one didn't light up. And another one. Yeah, so I think we've got problems there, look. Yeah. Am I seated all the way? I think so. Let's go again. Yeah, look, that same A64's come back again. Seems to be the same ones. So that's really good. We've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4. Oh, and one down here that's not making a connection. Let me just check that that definitely is not the tester and it's the card. We'll plug this card back in. Okay, let's just check this one. No, that one's fine. All the lines are okay on that one. Interesting. So we might have already found a fault already on this card. Let's go again just to give it a reseat. We're not going to get into faulting a GPU now, because this is just to show you the tools, this video. But I'm pretty excited if that Yeah, look. A64. Oh, an A72. Yeah, similar ones. And you can see it's kind of like going on and off. There's something with a bit of an intermittent connection on there. Yeah, something's not quite right. So yeah, that's the first time I've used the tester. So if you've got any experience of using that, let me know what you think, because maybe we can visit that in a live stream if you think that there might be some issues with those pins on there. Exciting. Right, we've got to move on because I've got more to show you. Just before I show you the other things, I just wanted to come back to this power supply block, because I know my friend Geir Anderson, who supports the channel, he also got stung with buying one of these kind of things, and it was very poor quality, the one that he got compared to this one. So yeah, not all of them are built equal, and I believe his had like electrolytic capacitors on there, and it wasn't built as well. And also what they'd also done is like scrubbed off all of the chips on there, so they couldn't be read, which was a kind of strange thing to do. If you look on the back of my one, you can see the chip markings are still present on there. They haven't been grinded away, so you can't read them to hide what components they use on this board. Right, now back onto the GPUs. I've also picked up this. Now this is a really nice looking riser board. It's foam backed on here, so it means that I can place it down on the table if I want, like that, without anything shutting down. But I'm going to probably have it facing on its side like this. Now the reason why a riser board like this, I think they are originally designed for, like, you know, people who use like mining rigs and stuff, but for faulting a GPU, this is a pretty essential tool. So if my GPU was inserted into the motherboard like that, it would make it very difficult to take any measurements on there with the multimeter. Really, I want my GPU laid down flat and be able to, you know, probe from above and inspect. You know, if I've not got any detection on the card, I can go ahead and, you know, measure for any shorted components and, you know, check if the voltages are present. So I need the board to be powered on by the motherboard, but I don't want it to be inserted in the motherboard like that. So what this riser will do, I'm going to connect my GPU into the riser like this, and this is going to connect to the motherboard with these cables and lay flat like that. Now to connect the riser to the motherboard, let me just show you the connections that are on here. Of course we need power, so we've got the 6-pin power connector here, and they do give you an included power connector which gives you I think a serial SATA connector on here to power it, so we can get GPU power. And also for the data, we've got the USB-C cable here, so we can plug our USB-C cable in, and then we've got here, this is going to slot into the motherboard into the PCI Express slot itself. Yeah, and I think that's going to actually give me quite a decent amount of length, so I can have the test bench slightly off to the side on there, and we can just have the GPU plugged in like that, working on the desk. Yeah, that's going to be ideal. Now this particular riser does actually come with a few things on here. So we've got a switch on there, and it's got a display, 2 displays actually, and it's got LEDs. So we've got LED 3, LED 4, LED 5, and I don't really know much about the documentation of what these do until I start using it. I'm guessing one of them shows voltage, maybe one of them shows any error codes or something like that. So if you know what any of these LEDs mean and you use one of these riser cards, I'd appreciate you if you leave us a little comment down below with a link, or, you know, let me know what these do. That will be very useful. Now also, when I'm working on the GPU and got it powered up on the side here, I'm probably not going to have these fans and the heatsink all attached, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get to anything. So again, the cooler that I've got on here is ideal because I'm going to be able to rest that, put some thermal paste and rest it on the die itself. So that can be, you know, just sitting on there quite happily, and I'll be able to take my measurements without it, you know, overheating the core. Right, lastly, I've got a couple more goodies to show you as well. So these are relating to the power supply. Now, as well as the ATX motherboards and the GPUs, I do also want to dive into fixing the power supplies. Maybe not straight away, I'll get a bit more experience first. But yeah, fixing a power supply I'd really like to do as well on this channel. Now, I don't currently know the status of this power supply, whether it is working or not. I've never powered it on before and never tried it. So I think let's do that now. And we can use this new device that I've got. I've seen other people use this as well, they're pretty common. But again, this one's from AliExpress. And this is the easy to read power voltage power supply tester. So in this side, we've got our 24 pin. And we've also got the 8 pin and the 6 pin, and then we've got the small one here. So let's connect the 24 pin first and see how that one is testing. Alright, we are connected in there. Now, just to let you know what this is and what it isn't, this is just going to confirm whether the voltages are correct and whether the voltages are present. So it's going to tell us, you know, if the power rail is up and if it's present. And also, obviously, it's going to, the power supplies, if I plug this power in and turn the power supply on, it's not automatically enabled. So this is also going to switch it and going to enable the power supply output for me. So that's nice. But what it doesn't do is test the power supply under any type of load. It's just testing the voltages on there. So the power supply could test perfectly fine on here and have all the voltages, but it doesn't necessarily mean your power supply is completely fine. It just means that the voltages are present. If you wanted to test it under the load, obviously you would need the load tester as well. So let's plug in. We're in, and let's check this power supply together for the first time. Pressing the power on. Pressing the power on now. Oh, we've got fan spin and we've got lights. Okay, so the power supply is actually running, and yeah, this device did turn the power supply on for us, so that's nice. So 12 volt. Let me make sure you can read it. Well, to me, that's fluctuating. Can you see that? The 12 volt is going from 12, 11.3, 12, 11. There, it doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, that looks a bit all over the place. It's going from 11 to 12 on both the plus 12 and the minus 12 on here. Plus 12 V2 is doing LL, so I don't know what that means. Maybe if you know, let me know. 5 volt, that seems to be stable, but this plus 5 volt is all over the place as well. Same with the 3.3. Look at that. Yeah, this is not good. I think there's something wrong with this power supply. Let's turn it off. Let me know what you think about this. It doesn't seem right to me. But as I say, I've not used this tester. Let me just try this Molex. Oh, okay. So when we plug the Molex in, we get some additional lights. These ones come up. So we've got the 12 volt and the 5 volt light both coming up there. What about the small one on the side? I'm guessing this should be like a 5 volt. Plug that in. Oh, okay, yeah, so that's 12 and 5, yeah. Right, I've got another power supply here, so we're going to be able to use this one. Now, this isn't a very high quality power supply. It's only 500 watt. But let's see what the output is like on this power supply to see if it was the tester or the power supply. Okay, let's go. Ready? Powering on. And the power supply is powering on. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, so look at that. We have a stable voltage on our output. Stable 12 volts on there. Stable 5 volts. We've also got a power good, is that PG? 270 milliseconds, stable 5 volt, and a stable 12 volt, and a stable 3.4 volts. So to me, I know that's a cheap power supply, but that seems to be actually working. It's only a 500 watt power supply, but you can see the difference. That was jumping all around on that power supply. So it looks like this is already come in handy, this power supply tester. We may have identified that there's definitely an issue on that other power supply without having to plug it in and damage a motherboard or something. And yeah, that maybe we can look at that one on a stream or something as well. That would be fun. So yeah, I've got a power supply to repair. Exciting. Now, one last item that I've got to show you is this special device. Now, what I'm going to be able to do is, I've got it in the off position at the moment, so we should be good to connect our 24 pin to this. Okay, let's turn my power supply on. And the power supply doesn't automatically come on, but we have now got a power light on this device. So we got 5 volt standby on there, and if we switch this on, hopefully it should trigger this. Let's see. Switching on, yes, indeed, it has triggered it. So the power supply is on, and as you can see now, we have a whole host of lights lighting up on here. First of all, we've got the input voltage of 12.2. So that's our main 12 volts on here. And this board gives us a various range of outputs on here. So we've got 3 USB ports on the side, just normal USB A ports. And on this side, we've got a USB C port as well, which is very nice. And we have up here a barrel jack connector, so we can connect various different devices if we want to there. And we also have 5 volt ground, 3.3, minus 12, plus 12, and we've got at the last one, I don't know if you can see that, but that says a voltage ADJ for adjustable. So this one we can actually tune the output voltage on here using this little potentiometer thing here. We can adjust the output on that one to have a custom output. So this is actually quite a good device that we could use if there's, you know, various different things on the bench that we wanted to power. I could use this board if I just needed to pull off a high-powered 12 volt, you know, that my power supply can't support to power the GPU. I could pull a 12 volt off here, which probably got 20 amps, gives us plenty of current to power something up. So that would be quite a useful use case for it. If we are faulting a GPU and we wanted to put load on a particular rail within this power supply, I could attach my load to one of these outputs, and you know, I could put 200 watts or something with my load on there, and we can see if the voltage drops as the you know, load takes some current. And of course, it's just quite a useful item to have, you know, if you've got some USB devices that you wanted to power, you've got an old power supply lying around, you've instantly got yourself a USB charger, having this with USB-C or USB-A, and without having to modify or short out cables or something, you just plug your 24 pin in here, press the power button, and you can switch on and trigger ATX power supply like this to come on and give you all the outputs. So I thought that was also quite a useful tool to pick up. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly am very excited to get into repairing some other different devices as well as laptops. Thank you very much for AliExpress for sending me the PCIe Express tester. I'm definitely going to put that to good use on my channel. As I say already, all the tools that I've shown will have links in the description if you need any of these for yourself. I'll try to find the best prices and link that one to you in there if you want to get your hands on one of them. And other than that, thank you very much for everybody supporting my channel. Really appreciate you, especially the JFix Legends members, which we have Gear Anderson, and we also have Grandpa's Bench as well. I've also heard a rumour that Grandpa's Bench might also be starting his own YouTube channel, so I'm very excited if he does. So yeah, thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.